Hello and welcome back. I am here today with a solo episode and my little man, Riker. And I decided, after thinking about a lot of different topics I wanted to share with you, I decided that we're going to talk about um, your ears and how your ears might feel like you can't hear out of them. And that might just be because they're highly congested. So we're going to talk about that because in real time, I am feeling like my ears are massively congested and it's causing me to have headaches almost every day. So it's really awful. And then I feel like when I talk and when I hear people talk, it just echoes and reverberates. So it's really not great. So we're going to talk about 5 things that you can do to potentially eliminate and or alleviate this. And then I will share what with you in real time what I'm actually going to do in addition to some of these things that either I have done or I will be doing. So, first things first, if you didn't know, your ears and your nose and your throat are all connected. So, when we get sick, most of the time we feel like either, we've got a scratchy throat. And a drippy nose, and our ears might also feel backed up or congested, like mine do right now. And that's because all three of those parts of the head, if you will, are intricately connected. So if you're like, well, I feel like, for the most part, I'm okay. It's just I have this really awful congestion in my ears, feels like it's blocked in there and I can't hear very well, and it's causing me to have a headache. It could be because your sinuses are inflamed and they're congested. So that I'm pretty sure is my issue right now. And so I want to share with you these 5 things that you can possibly consider doing. Um, in hopes that it's going to help you. So the first one is getting a humidifier. Okay, so that's where you put water in it, turn it on, it heats up, and then it creates that sort of like a steam, if you will, and that's bringing more moisture into the air, and you're breathing that, right? And that's going to help to open up your nasal passageways because most likely, if your sinuses are congested, it's all very dry up there, so it's not moving, everything's all stuck. So the moisture is going to help to make things more moist inside your nasal cavities so that it can drain. Everything can start to drain. Okay, so I have not done that yet. That is my next step. I'm going to be utilizing that tonight and I will have to report back on that next week. But that would be a great thing to start to do if you have one. And I do have one, so I'm going to utilize that. They're pretty inexpensive. I feel like I got mine for 20, maybe 30 bucks several years back. So it's not a super huge investment, but it's definitely, I think, something that is worthwhile in getting because you can use it indefinitely for whenever you need it. The second thing I would recommend is using like a saline mist or nasal spray. Um, I'm using Flonase right now, and so that's again just like the humidifier. It's going to help to moisten the nasal passages, so that way you can help to get that gunk out. Because again, it's all stuck up there because it's so dry and there's no moisture. Okay, so the recommendation is to do that twice a day. So I've been doing that in the morning and at night. Um, it's not really super helpful to me right now because I feel like I'm so congested. But I still continue to do it because it's better than not. To me, I feel like it's better than not doing it at all. At least it's, hopefully providing a little support. The next thing, so the third thing would be a decongestant. So I had been taking Sudafed, but I stopped taking it because too much of that can just kind of become almost like too much of anything can cause it to be ineffective. And so the recommendation for Sudafed is usually 2 or 3 days at a time and then taking a break. I wasn't doing that, but that's also because I hadn't looked into that until afterwards and realized, wow, I'm not feeling better after almost using the whole pack of Sudafed. Why is this? So just know that decongestion should be used not on a regular basis, should be used a couple days at a time and take a break so that your body can try to do some of that on its own without, having the need for medication. And just like I said, anything that you're putting in your body that is not, created from the body is something that you want to obviously be careful in terms of how much you're utilizing it. And, we don't want to use it as a crutch either. So you can also, some will say that it can become habit forming, using something like Sudafed. Um, I feel like I was getting to that point of like, oh, I'm just going to keep taking them. But then I realized it's not really doing anything for me. So I stopped using it. Um, so just keep that in mind. Decongestant could be helpful, but, use it 2 to 3 days at a time and then give yourself 2 to 3 days off and then you can try again and see if that's supportive. The fourth thing I would recommend would be to try and avoid, I know this is hard, caffeine, salt, tobacco, and alcohol. I've never had tobacco, so I don't have to worry about that. But um, those things can make it worse. It can make your symptoms feel worse because they negatively impact the circulation in the body. So it can make it feel even more congested in your sinuses and just feel like more pressure in your head. And then the fifth thing would be to check for wax. So wax in your ears. If you wear earbuds, pulling those out, and if you see wax on them, that's like a telltale sign, right? If you're someone like me who uses Q-tips, which I probably shouldn't, you might see it on there. You want to be careful though if you're using Q-tips that you don't shove those too far down in your ear canals because that could, push the wax way down and then make it really hard to get it out, but also then make it really hard to hear too. Um, you could also, going back to the humidifier, I know I didn't say this earlier, but um, a hot shower, a warm shower where the steam is coming up, that can be super helpful too. I notice that when I am in the shower and I do have the hot water going and there's a little bit of steam, that does help a little bit for me. So I think that the humidifier tonight is going to be a good next step for me. But if you do all these things and you're like, I'm still not feeling great, the next step I would say is go to the ENT, an ear, nose, and throat doctor. I am going to be calling mine this week because I just need some answers. I've been before in the past. I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I went because I was getting these regular sinus infections. And they didn't find anything that was abnormal, if you will. But I feel like I need to go back and just be like, listen, I am still having issues with, having recurring sinus infections. Now I feel like my ears are, completely congested. What's the next step? So, it could be you've got a deviated septum. Um, uh, According to my ENT in the past, I didn't have that, but who knows? Things could have changed. I don't know. So I am going to schedule an ear, nose, and throat consultation again because I need to check on this and I want to feel better. I feel like vertigo symptoms where I just feel kind of like out of body and just kind of like in a daze sometimes, and then it's making me very tired. Um, so I don't want to feel that way. Obviously, nobody wants to feel that way. So those are, the things that I'm doing, the things I have been doing, the things I will be doing, like I said, in terms of contacting the ENT. So if you're feeling like this, you're not alone. Am also feeling this way too, feeling congested in the ears. So do yourself a solid and take some steps to support yourself. And if you end up going to the ENT, reach out to me. Let me know. I'd love to know what your ENT shares with you and what your next steps are, or what they share with you for your next steps. So yeah, that is that. I hope you have a fantabulous start to the week or the rest of the week, depending on when you're listening to this. And I will chat with you again next week. Take care.